Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be a super pleasant video to make because this is the last video that I make with my name having New Nation attached to it. And the truth of the matter is that this war season just broke me. Now, I haven't necessarily been a massive fan of where the wars are going with the tactics and everything else, but this last tactic it's gotten to the point where I really started dreading to play the war, and I think the last war especially gave me some sort of PTSD. Truth of the matter is, it's just too much to deal with at the moment. I am having a fairly rough time outside of the game as well, dealing with a handful of issues, but that's neither here or there. And then the recent experience with, well, most alliance-related activities, with how AQ in itself is extremely stale. Raids are cool, but they're only like once a month, and we have had a ton of issues with that as well. And more often than not, alliance war seasons have been a complete shit show coming from Kabam. Tactics being absolutely overtuned. I believe last tactic was the one that Kabam released completely overtuned, then nerfed it before the season started, and they had to nerf it again. Or was it the one before? And this recent one is just awful as well. And as a result of Kabam releasing this tactic, and more specifically with these specific champions as tactic defenders and tactic attackers, I felt as if though I ranked up like 5 champions that I do not like or think are remotely good rank ups. But I did it for Alliance War and try and like to do your best. For instance, I don't know, rank 6 Sandman is a 6-star. And let's face it, Sandman isn't relevant champion anywhere else. And this tactic is even taking away half his utility when it comes to the heal reversal. And I think he's a fine champion. It's just not somebody that I would have wanted to max out. And then when you're using rank 6 Sandman against rank 3 Beefcake defenders in Alliance War, you make a small mistake and you get KO'd, and that is when the tactic's working decently to begin with. Ultimately, there have been quite a lot of posts speaking about the state of Alliance War and Alliance tactics and the AI, and the culmination of that generally has come to a horrible user experience. Now, the AI issues obviously are affecting the entire game, not just the Alliance War, but what makes it worse in Alliance War is that, you know, I can live with getting parried in the middle of Battlegrounds fight, because that's my Battlegrounds score, and I can quickly get into another match, and everything's gonna be fine. I can live with getting parried in, like, randomly in a challenge mode somewhere, because I can redo the fight, or use a revive, or something, and it only affects me. But when it comes to Alliance Wars, it affects the entire team. And dying in Alliance War is the most disgustingly awful feeling. And especially this last several wars, I have gotten extremely nervous when I'm playing Alliance War. Because it's a ton to deal with. Especially with these specific attackers. So, like, the champion I hate in the game most right now is Ironheart. Because I ranked her up and she's just so shit. She is. Really, she's like a definition of mid-champion. She's one of the very few champions that can technically do some fights, and she does them. But she's extremely mid in just about everything. Like how with her, if you want to shut down the abilities that would trigger whilst they are hitting in your block, you need to have 5 debuffs. It doesn't just happen. If you want to parry the projectiles, you need to have the 5 debuffs, but then there's always like ebb and flow node that, you know, gets rid of your debuffs. And the damage is so at best. And then, not in the last war before that, I activated the pre-fight, checked that the pre-fight's activated, and I got hit with a pre-fight bug, and I lost I gave up at death because of that. Then I had another match last war with Ironheart against like Negasonic, I believe, which was going just about perfect until the point where Negasonic decided to not throw her special attack, and I just get cornered and I die. Ultimately, I'm not gonna try and like shift my own shortcomings here. I definitely could have played better in some of these matches as well. But the point is that with Alliance War, you need to make sure that you're using the right champion, the right pre-fights, the right boosts. You double, triple check everything, and then you don't notice a bug that your pre-fight doesn't get applied, and then everybody in the team is pissed at you because you died in a close war. And then you go to the next war and you're trying your best, you're vigilant, you do your duels, you get in the match, and then the AI doesn't throw a special attack and you die, and everybody's even more pissed. So, ultimately, for now, at the very least, I just don't want to deal with that anymore. Because Alliance War, in general, I love. I have loved Alliance War since it started, really. I have always played in a competitive Alliance War. Alliances never have been, like, I think, lower than Plat 1, but typically Masters or Top 10 Masters. But it's just not enjoyable right now. And it is definitely taking a toll on my mental health as well. For instance, the day I die in Alliance War, I do have my mood severely affected by it because it just feels so crap. And on top of everything else happening in my life right now, I don't need it. I really don't. And therefore, can be no longer a part of New Nation. Truth is, like, I had decided to leave New Nation yesterday after my last awful war, and by the time I woke up, officers effectively came to the same conclusion that it would probably be best if we parted ways, at the very least for now, probably for quite a while. So, more than likely, I will try to find an alliance that's more so focused on battlegrounds, if anything. Or maybe just do a new account challenge and kind of chill a bit with this account. Who knows? But as of right now, I definitely have very little to no interest in playing Alliance War in any competitive capacity. And that sucks, because this kind of like feels a bit of an end of an era moment. Definitely my time in New Nation, I have been there for absolutely ever. And it's, painful. Some of my best friends are in that alliance. And it definitely does feel awful, to be honest. And the way we get here, again, like, I can't help but to feel an resentment towards Kabam taking Alliance War in that direction, and creating these conditions where the AI is awful and they skip frames and do things that they should never be able to do. And then we have these tactics that are, hard, which is always fine, but this just seems like you're forced to use champions like, your Sentinels and your Ironhearts, and they're releasing champions like Ironheart, who has like 5 million abilities, but ultimately all of them are mediocre and conditional and have very specific playstyles. And then the tactic that's supposed to help these champions, when it comes to the science class champions, in many matchups actually hurt them, because they chose for the debuff for the passive to be heal block, and with heal block active you can't reverse regeneration, so that significantly affects Mr. Fantastic, Anti-Venom, it significantly affects Leader, and Mr. Negative, and Silk, and Void, and Sandman, all have part of their utility taken away by the design of the attack tactic. Not to mention the fact that, there is a severe discrepancy in the quality or toughness of the champions when it comes to the defenders and attackers. So, yeah. At this point in time, I'm definitely going to miss being part of New Nation. But I'm not going to miss doing Alliance War. Again, for the longest time, I was looking forward to Tough Wars. I was looking forward to Alliance War seasons. I was, happily ranking up champions that I thought would be good for the upcoming seasons. But the champion rank up requirements, with Kabam releasing more and more mediocre champions, have just gotten to feel, worse. And the whole game mode, I think, just doesn't feel great right now. And again, these issues exist in other areas of the game, but when something goes wrong in Alliance War, it's definitely felt the hardest. And despite what everybody says that, you know, oh, you love complaining or you love criticizing Kabam, I actually don't. I hate it. Which is the reason why I barely covered Lions War recently, because even I get tired of saying, like, this is bad, that is bad. But that doesn't change the fact that these things are going wrong in the game. AI is actively ruining the satisfaction of the game. Kabam releasing mediocre champions is, you know, destroying the hype for new champions or your desire to rank them up because they're objectively kind of shit or mediocre at best. Kabam releasing OP defenders without hard counters is just adding to that. And then there are the bugs. Like a pre-fight bug has existed in this game for like 4 years that now and then flares up. And I just don't know anymore. It is rough. Despite that, obviously, I still love the game. Still enjoy playing Battlegrounds for most part. I still look forward to the content releases. I just desperately also wish that Kabam, you know, gets at least some of these things under control, because right now, more and more of this stuff is getting hard to live with. So, once again, I wanted to say a huge thank you to my, well, soon to be ex-teammate in New Nation. Huge thank you to White Mummy specifically, who has been my officer for years. And huge thank you to all of you for watching and listening to me being down, I guess. It's been a really shitty couple of weeks. Really has. But I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about